Hello, this is the Harbor and Light. I'm Mary. I give a conservative perspective about the world around me. So, feedback is greatly important. Feel free to questions, comments, concerns, show ideas possibly. Shoot me an email. Find me on Substack, X, and of course, fill up with those comments on YouTube. It'd be greatly, greatly appreciated. All right, so some of the audio platforms that I'm on Spreaker, of course, here. Spotify, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon Music, just to name a few. And I'm looking to grow to wherever you enjoy your podcast, I'm on that. So this episode is all about fashion. It's still the month of January, and I'm focusing on my energy and my theme on fashion. So on this episode, I am going to focus in on fashion from the Netherlands and Denmark. Here we are, and here we go. Okay, so here's some couple of thoughts that I do on my Substack page on Saturday, or Fashion of Thought here. So I find it quite interesting, particularly with fashion and Dutch fashion and so forth, and all of this with and then somewhat with the Netherlands, but the whole unified theme of what I'm learning and understanding is, and I like to know my listeners out there in the Netherlands, listeners out there in the Netherlands and let me say that again, and in Denmark. Let me know your perspective about what you wear, what you like, about what I'm talking about as far as fashion appeal, or the fashion, I don't want to say trend, but the fashion, I guess, ideology or thought process in your countries. So it's quite interesting about the fact of sustainability being earth conscious, and that goes a whole lot of ways with the business ethics too, when it goes into textiles and creating clothes. This is nothing. This is from both sides, from America on to international territories, with the real issues and the problems with, unfortunately, big companies like, for instance, Nike and so forth, doing these things where, run the risk of doing unethical things in the height or in the way of getting product out there quickly, fast, and ready. And so it's very commendable here when you get into the aspects of countries that want to, scale down and think about the process of what they're doing and what they put into their clothing, and that becomes a whole social impact of how people view what they're wearing and the society here, and it links into that. So that was a very interesting documentary that I saw this past summer. And so it was about this retail brand. It was kind of like I'm trying to remember the name, but it phases me because I'm not teenage anymore. So anyway, so it focused in on the aspect of the downfall of ready to wear. And the aspect they showed, websites, I would equate that to today more prevalent to Temu sort of mentality of, oh, this is cute, this is trendy, this is nice, or the TikTok mentality of constant going through your TikTok, whatever, however they say real, whatever they do on TikTok. I'm not a fan of TikTok, but here we go. And then, going and, oh, that catches my attention. I want to get that. And not having, as I said before in previous episodes in this month that I'm talking about fashion here, there's no real sense of thought process behind what you consider or what you like about clothing. So, and so that it showed and this documentary showed the impact, so, you take it with a grain of salt. Unfortunately, there are a lot of documentaries that fudge the truth and they make it hyperbolic, and all these things. But the unified theme, I think, to pay attention to is that is an issue here. When you consider the aspect of where do these things go, where do all these clothes go, and what is the aftermath of constantly wanting something new. And you see, for instance, if you something like Nordstrom Rack or pop-up shops here, where they scale down, they try to, with their regular main hub of their store, a high-end store, they try to scale down and get somewhat of a, pop-up shop. But Nordstrom's Rack is really a whole other department store in itself in order to get this product out. And, they slash markdown prices and so forth and so on. But the unified theme that it was showing and they were showcasing that these things there's not a lot that can be done with it. It get waste. It's waste, and it is on the backs of a lot of people too, who are, they want to say, with the aspects of making a social conscious awareness of, is it really worth it here to rein everything in? Is it really worth it to constantly want something instantly and not really, having that mentality? Okay, I'm just going to slow down and process what I like, what I don't like, and what works for me. And then have that mentality of really making full use of my clothing, making it extend out longer past a season a season and a fashion trend and so forth like that. And so this also goes back to the aspects of, going early on throughout history here when we go into, it started to change more and more when we get in the, 20s, 30s, and so forth. But even then, that was still prevalent where, you don't, that's looked down upon, looks strange to waste things, particularly with clothes, even here we go in the aspects of going on to the Middle Age and so forth. Royalty, well-to-do people, they would wear their things more than once, and commoners, wear their stuff till it just falls off of them and stuff. and stuff like that. But the whole point of me bringing that up is here. When you have that mentality that what you buy, you should get into mentality of built to last here, it changes your aspect of how you maneuver towards things and objects and see yourself in those place of objects and the appreciation that you have. And that's something to think about. All right, with all of that said, I'm getting into the aspects of fashion from the Netherlands and from Denmark. Okay, so here is the AI generated aspect of what I found. Ooh, no, don't do that. Okay, it's pulling up here. All right, so it says fashion in the Netherlands and Denmark. It says fashion in the Netherlands and Denmark reflect a unique cultural influence and a growing focus on sustainability and innovation. In the Netherlands, fashion is characterized by comfort, practicality, and relaxed attitude. So Dutch fashion often includes elements like denim, which is popular due to the country's weather and cycling culture. The Dutch style is described as uncomplicated, comfortable, and pragmatic. So brands like Mud Jeans are leading the way in sustainability, offering repair and rental services and using organic and recycled cotton. So on to Denmark. So Denmark, on the other hand, is known for its minimalist and functional approach to fashion. Danish fashion often emphasizes quality and simplicity with a strong emphasis on sustainability and ethical practices. So brands like New, forgive me if that's the wrong pronunciation. So Denmark showcases this approach, presenting collections that are both stylish and environmentally conscious. So both countries are also home to innovative designers who are shaping the future of fashion through new technologies. And it's a circular approach. So Dutch designers like Iris van Herpen are known for their avant-garde and sustainable designs, while Danish brands like New Denmark are making strides in sustainable fashion. So in summary, fashion in the Netherlands and Denmark is marked by a blend of practicality, sustainability, and innovation, with each country contributing to unique styles and approach to the global fashion scene. All right, so here are some of the AI-generated sources. So fashionunited.com, goodonyou.eeco, fashionrevolution.org, fashiongirl.com, and goodintention.co, just to name a few. All right, so I am going to get into talking about a guide at the Dutch fashion market, and then I'm going to talk about different Dutch clothing brand. And here we go. So first off, I'm going to talk about a guide to the Dutch fashion market. All right, it says the Netherlands has a temperature of a marine climate. So winters are mild, while summers as well as summers is mild, and it rains all year round. Despite the Netherlands being known as a rainy country, it does not rain all the time. So many dry periods occur. The biggest issue is the unpredictability of Dutch weather. And so I'm talking about this because I think that also plays a big part to, most of the time, people just do what they do with clothes here. But a lot of, other hand of the time, what is worn, it centers around the weather a lot, and that's an interesting element to add into the aspect of fashion too. With let's, for instance, you live in a climate here, going into America where it's rainy or it's cold or it's really hot, you're gonna change. Your attire is gonna change from region to region here. So the biggest issue is the unpredictability of Dutch weather. You never know what it's going to be. Because of the weather, fashion brands from countries with roughly the same climate do well in the Netherlands. So brands from countries like Sweden, Denmark, and Norway, for example, also clothes for the autumn or winter seasons tend to sell better in the Netherlands than clothes from the spring and summer seasons because those garments are worn more because of the weather. So the Dutch style of clothing. So Dutch consumers are less fashion sensitive compared to consumers in Germany. So the United States, United Kingdom, or Sweden. All right, so why is this? It says the majority of Dutch consumers think fashion is overrated. So only 10% of Dutch people who buy clothes say they follow fashion trends. Yet over 44% of Dutch people consider fashion very important. So most important to the Dutch are fit, price, and style. So much less important do they consider where the garment was produced and whether it is a unique garment. So Dutch consumers prefer comfortability and flexibility. People wear one set of clothes and keep them on throughout the day. So Dutch people generally do not dress up during the day and wear the same outfit at work or to the pub. So Dutch fashion style is above all uncomplicated, comfortable, relaxed, pragmatic, and practical. So a certain modernness is tolerated. But the Dutch do not like to make a fuss. So since cycling is the most important popular means of transportation, clothes should be practical above all else. Finally, denim deserves a special mention. So the Dutch love denim very much. So the Dutch own an average of 5 to 4 pairs of jeans per person. So Dutch weather also plays a role in this because it's almost never too hot for jeans in the Netherlands. So culture with bargains in Dutch culture. Sell promotions, sell offer, everything must go or free. So bargains is its own culture. So the Dutch dare to buy cheaper and be action-oriented, according to the source. Unlike in other countries, quality confirmation by a brand name is less important. Or retail is also focused on that with the told through the newspaper. So it's very prevalent too with the aspect of that as the mentality of thinking about it, particularly this whole idea. It reminds me of this. So when I was growing up, it was prevalent that it happened more so along the lines of when I was in the 5th grade, and the aspect of uniforms. And so with uniforms, you get into the notion of you. And then so forth, uniform stopped when I reached the 8th grade. And then when I got into high school, you could wear whatever you wanted. Well, not whatever you wanted, but you get the idea. You didn't have to wear uniforms anymore. So, it also begs the question, and then this was brought up too in the attention of when, I'm just saying this in passing, when I was a contractor, fresh out of college with my job that I was talking with media production that I was talking about. So there was a class, and then there was a guy who came in, and he was talking about Singapore, and then he was talking about different aspects of the Asian market, and he was talking about school and education. He was talking about the aspect of uniforms, and then he was talking about, and then this discussion came up with this aspect of, not being bullied for you not wearing designer clothes, versus the practicality of uniforms. Okay, so getting back to this here, it's quite interesting when, you have a society, a particular country that's focusing their energy on brand names do not matter. And so, you get the feel of the aspect of not having that pressure society of, being trendy or, a leading, showing your status, so to speak here. But that's a whole interesting thing in itself. So, getting back to the aspect of when I was wearing uniforms, it's one of those, devil in the detail here, where it doesn't matter where you wear, what you do, somebody's always going to find a way to say something or find themselves elitist. It's just something that's a part of, unfortunately, the human condition here, So, it's either, let's say, the uniform is either navy, khaki, or whatever. Oh, well, my khaki brand is this, or so for my khaki attire looks like this, so it's better. So, it's something to consider about that too, with the aspect of everything that goes on with, saying that's a good practical thing to do as far as the sense of from a United States point of view about the aspect of finding comfort, of finding, freedom, of finding appeasement in the aspects of wearing uniforms. That teach a valuable lesson that, particularly when you get into adulthood, that you're supposed to, protecting on the type of occupation that you take, that uniforms are required, and that's a part of your discipline and your profession here. But needless to say here, that it still doesn't strip away with the aspect of bringing attention to yourself as far as, establish yourself from everyone else when we get into that aspect. And I think that here, when countries just don't care about that, they understand the overall unified theme of how everything works with their self and their placement of clothes, I think that in itself changes the aspect of the importance of designer brands, where it doesn't really matter at all. And that's something I think to consider here when we think about that too. Now, I'm just putting an extra element here. So I'd like to know what you think about the aspect of uniforms and, versus uniforms in the United States versus uniformal wear, throughout the globe. Feel free to email me, and I'll send what have you want to connect with me. You'll have all those links to do so. All right, so moving on here. Dutch people know where and when discounts are to go. In regular shops, 88%, and in online shops, 83% for many products and clothes. And the majority wait to buy until a discount promotion comes along. So 2 and 3 Dutch people wait for winter and summer sales before shopping. 4 and 10 people, and this is especially true for young people, they wait for special discount days such as Black Friday. So it says, and I'm going to wrap up here, says the willingness to wait for discounts has increased over the past 5 years, so between 2016 and 2021. For clothing, the increase is the strongest. On the other hand, the share of Dutch people willing to buy products without a discount has also increased slightly. All right. Here we go. I am going on fashion brands here. So it says they get the feel of everything as far as where it originally came from to, how it translates to United States and so forth. So G-Star, since 1989, G-Star's philosophy has always been just the product. So the purposeful approach has led to the Dutch brand to mini denim first. The introduction of luxury denim for the streets, featuring high-end craftsmanship with street-level edge to create a new denim industry. So the positioning of raw, untreated denim was a wearable and desirable material. So G-Star Raw has also promoted the inherent beauty of denim by creating washes and treatments that enhance its unique characteristics and qualities. Today's sophisticated palette of washes represent a complete life story, from raw unwashed denim to denim indigo dye to extreme bleach, with the treatments adding multiple gradations of wear to create distinctive textures and garments with soul. And so here we go with, Brahms fruit. So how to describe Brahms fruit? Imagine preppy meets streetwear with a touch. So Amy Lemondor holding hands with About Blank all embrace a seamlessly obsessive symbolism of fruit and garment at large. So on a more serious note though, the Fresh Nude brand from the Netherlands presents a great diversity of silhouettes and attention to detail in every collection they create. And if you're interested, this source will be provided for you. Want to know more about these fashion brands here. It's a true but up-and-coming brand to keep an eye on. And so, yeah, I'm going to end on this. So, Filling Pieces. Filling Pieces is the epitome of avant-garde footwear, where streetwear meets high fashion in a memorable fusion of style and innovation. So, pushing boundaries and challenging norms. This Amsterdam-based brand approaches shoe design with an architectural eye. So each pair of Filling Pieces sneakers is the masterpiece of unconventional silhouettes and meticulous craftsmanship. So comfort and aesthetics intertwine flawlessly, creating a bold statement of individuality. So in 2018, Filling Piece launched their first ready-to-wear collection, ultimately pushing their boundaries from a footwear brand to an all-around fashion brand with a strong sense of community and loyalty to its roots. So, let me moving on. So again, I'm mentioning those things. Interesting how these brands branch out, and the popularity of it, versus with their home base, versus what people perceive them in other countries, versus coming back to the U.S., how it's perceived. So, I'm trying to think about it. So I'm going to wrap up by talking about Dutch fashion. So Dutch fashion is famous around the world for its avant-garde style and unique concepts. But did you know that Dutch designers are at the forefront when it comes to technical innovation and promoting sustainability? So from new fabrics with solar cells to dresses made from cow dung, that is, wow, okay. There's no limit to the imagination and fashion designers of the Netherlands. So, discovering the cutting edge future of fashion and meeting designers and studios leading the way on with secular journey. So, different, daring, and distinctive, okay? So it goes into, say, Rotterdam, the premier port of Europe. Rotterdam is a dynamic city with its own unique characteristics, for example. And then you can, with that aspect, you can find out why the city is well worth a visit. So it's modern inspiration and meets also with meeting pioneers in sustainability and fashion. And it's also the best place to experience Dutch design. So, want to know more about that curious phenomenon of Dutch design? We can tell you everything you need to know, all at the best places to go for Dutch designs experience during your visit at the Netherlands. Okay. So it says, design and Dutch culture if you're interested. And they have different houses, Dutch design to immerse yourself in Dutch design, houses of style, well, houses of design, that is. If you're interested in going, they have that link. So they have a design museum and so forth. So let me get back to the design capital of the Netherlands. So I'm going to wrap up here. Eindhoven. So Eindhoven is a city of innovation, creativity, and design, but above all, a city of the future, and it is cradle of Dutch innovation, which is tangible not only by a vibrant city, but also far beyond that. So the charm and consistence of combining with the charm with modern aspects and innovation in the city, that's why Eindhoven is, in a nutshell, smart tech companies like it's the great know-how with everything in a nutshell. So you also got the aspect of tech companies like ASML, VDL, and Philips have a major influence on the city style and culture, while the remarkable, vibrant craft beer and pub culture too. Okay, I'll be right back here. All right, sorry about that. It's cold up here and the wind is blowing really fierce. Okay, so, but Eindhoven is first and foremost the design capital of the Netherlands. So the biggest event is the annual Dutch Design Week, where hundreds of talented and established designers showcase their latest creations. It features new futuristic designs that make a valuable contribution to our society, such as all the solar electric vehicle Light 1 year, and the wooden bio base camp at Pavilion, where construction with wood has been elevated to the sustainable art form. All right, so I'm going to end on this. And, of course, I have all these links provided for you in this episode. So, wrapping up, with this encompasses the aspect of how being innovative, being sustainable, being, in the Netherlands and so forth, but on the other hand with Denmark and stuff like that, with the aspect of that brands are not really important. All these encompass the idea and a different placement of how you feel, of how people feel themselves in fashion, or if they feel themselves in general about fashion. And that places itself with the society and the culture. And so that's good to delve in deep and see these different types of point of views about fashion. Because again, at the root of the matter, fashion really says a lot about how people feel about themselves. And I think it's on the same caliber as you get with the aspect of what's, even though they can be controversial issues, not so, but it's still polarizing, but it's getting better now. When you get in the aspect of talking about religion or politics and so forth, you get in these aspects, they shape how people move and think about themselves and the world around them and the society at large. And that in itself builds up or tears down a society. It's something to think about here. All right, with that said, this reaches the end of the Harbin Light. Tune in, turn up, and absolutely take care out there. And bye-bye for now. Take care.